Welcome to the Art of Healing podcast, the podcast that is dedicated to helping you connect with your mind, body, and spirit. This is Charlize, physician and Reiki master, and thank you so much for joining me. I would like to remind you that although I'm a physician, the information you receive in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. You can find my full disclaimer at my website, www.healingartshealthandwellness.com. If you like what you hear on this podcast, sign up for my weekly newsletter. Check your show notes for more information and for the link to sign up. Thank you. Hi, listeners, and as always, I'm so grateful for you joining me on this continuous journey of the Art of Healing podcast. I hope that this previous season has been one that you have learned from, hopefully enjoyed, hopefully felt was something that added to your time as a listener, because I'm a podcast fan myself, and I do know that there are so many that you listen to. But the cool thing with this media is that it allows us to connect, allows you to be doing things like commuting or driving and connect in a way that we wouldn't, like in written, like in a blog post or social media post or something like that. So wanted to do one more episode because we're going to enter winter break. One of the traditions that's really helped out with this show is to take a little bit of time away for me to reflect, to see what's happened and to work on projects. And then I think for the listeners, it gives you time to get caught up so that there's not just more coming out. You can stop and go back and listen to the what's happened in the previous season. So during this break, I will be working mainly on three projects, maybe a fourth, but I've been writing my book, The Heart of Being. And this book is an integration of knowledge from Western medicine and Eastern philosophy in dealing with the heart as far as the anatomy, and then the energetic heart is in the heart chakra. So in this book, I'm covering ways to engage and use your body positively in order to enhance positive traits. And we journey through the heart chakra in a way that I've wanted to do this when I'm working with patients, when I'm working with my clients, the way that I really want to describe what they're feeling in their body, but it just is too much information. So in this book, which during this break I'll be finalizing and getting it ready to share, we're going to go in depth into our hearts, into our lungs, into our chest cavity, the bones, the spine, the rib cage. And then along the way, we'll also learn how the story of our life, such as past trauma, current emotions, play into some of the common illnesses. And then I'll be sharing in the book some practices that I find helpful, as well as what science finds helpful as far as feeling the way that we want to feel, and in learning to engage in this area in our body in a mindful way. So I'll put in the show notes where to learn more about the book, The Heart of Being. And I hope that as readers read it, what they'll walk away with is a sense of calm, peace, having some tools to manage anxiety, having some tools to improve depression, and just with the knowledge of how wonderful their body is. What inspired me to write the book was many years ago, after being with patients all day long, it just hit me like a light bulb. Not like a light bulb. That would be odd. It means someone would throw a light bulb at me, but it hit me with like lightning that I spent all day telling people what was wrong with them. what was wrong with their bodies. Part of my job as a physician is listing diagnosis, and that has to happen. But it just sort of set in my heart that, doing it this way, um, I am I negatively programming my patients to think of their bodies as a problem. And when I'm not sharing with them some of the immaculate, miraculous things that their body is doing, am I taking away from what they can accomplish as a person? So, in the writing of this book, we're covering things such as um, the heart muscles, the myocardium, the muscles that we all walk around with inside of our body are incredible. This is incredible machinery that you have in your chest. So much so that it moves enough to generate its own heat. It burns a significant amount of calories, and it creates, because of the constant motion and the heat that it generates. Some believe that it creates what's called the human biofield, or it may be what helps to generate the energy of the aura. That's the biofield that some people are gifted enough to see. So, or for instance, your lungs. We take our lungs for granted. And when it did hit me that, I spent all day telling people what's wrong with them and not what's right with them, your lungs are incredible machinery that even the greatest of minds in science could not probably design something that does what your lungs do, which is instantaneously exchanging oxygen for carbon dioxide, moving volumes of air, detoxing your body at the same time while fueling your body. And when you start to view your lungs in that way, when you look at things like how you breathe, what's happening when you exercise, what happens when you meditate, you start to see it very differently. Or the operating system of your body, which is the autonomic nervous system. Unfortunately, most of us only become aware of that when it has a problem, like when you have high blood pressure. We don't often think of high blood pressure as an autonomic disorder, but in the vast majority of people, their blood pressure is being driven up because they have too much activity in one part, which is called the sympathetic nervous system, and not enough in another, in the parasympathetic nervous system. So, in any case, in this book, we're going to explore that and many topics and a lot more. And so, I do want to take some time to get that ready and to have it ready to release very soon. Um, Mindfulness is a practice that I discovered actually pretty recently. I've been practicing meditation for many years and took an interest in mindfulness just from reading certain books, honestly, and then really appreciating it as a practice here in the past few years. And it's really become one of my favorite ways to manage my own energies, my energy system, in addition to Reiki, the practice of mindfulness. So, mindfulness is basically working with your mind matter, being aware of your thoughts, and just the awareness is actually a really powerful tool. Mindfulness really is a great way to stave off anxiety. It's a great way to stop the spiraling thoughts of depression. Mindfulness is a great way to bring calmness, help your body relax when you're trying to sleep. And it's actually a good way to focus when you need to focus and be productive. So, to that end, I have a mindfulness meditation course that will be available through my website. And it's a 6-week course that will help you explore mindfulness, practice mindfulness, and find ways in your life you want to apply mindfulness. And mindfulness, which along with meditation, can be a form of meditation, but it can actually be a lifestyle. So I will put in the show notes where to find out more about that course, which I'm really excited for, and I've made sure to make the course so that it's something that you can start with your week. You'll actually have downloads that you can take with you because, of course, with any skill, and mindfulness is a skill in addition to lifestyle and formal practice. Being able to practice it daily, it really helps. So if you'll check the show notes to find out more about that mindfulness course. The last project I'm working on is going to be a book for new Reiki practitioners. I had noticed a few years ago that many people will learn Reiki and then kind of forget. They kind of get really into it that weekend they take the course or the days that they finish their online course. And then it just it will in their minds, it gently drifts away and they sort of forget about their practice. Um, for me, Reiki has been a way of life, my go-to tool. It's what I use throughout my day, even like for first aid. If I bump my knee, I'll do Reiki on it. Even as a practicing physician, when I've been going through major losses, Reiki definitely helped me to release and heal pain and grieving. And so I wanted to create a resource to help those that after they become attuned to Reiki or their next level in Reiki will have some tools to help them use it every day. Just some simple reminders to try it in this way, to use it in your journal, so that it becomes simple to integrate. And then hopefully, no matter how busy life gets, something that you can return to. Because for everyone that has become a student of Reiki, it doesn't go away. You know, what you've learned and your attunement are always with you. So, but what can get lost is the beneficial, wonderful feelings you have from that. And you actually get those right back as soon as you begin to practice. So, I'll be creating that book as well, and I'll be very excited to share that. Hopefully, that resource will be helpful, or for those that are maybe thinking about learning Reiki, maybe having this book so that after the days and weeks after you're done, you'll have some tools to help you stay on track. When I first learned Reiki, um, that was something I kind of had wished for, was sort of what next plan. So from my own practices of daily exercises and things is what I'll be sharing. During this short break, I will be available. I like to put a reminder because in the podcasting world, if a new episode doesn't come up, you don't necessarily get a notification. However, I do notify those that are interested with my weekly newsletter of when a new episode comes up, and then also some of the previous episodes that are worth looking into. So I'll put in the show notes if you are interested in my weekly newsletter, and that's where I usually put like what's happening, what's going on, and really I make in the newsletter I make it easier to find. Some of the best and favorite episodes among listeners. And then you'll also be able to find me on social media platforms on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll put my links there. And my main website is healingartshealthandwellness.com. And that's the easiest place to find me if you need to send a message, any topic that you're curious about. So, in closing, the winter months, I hope for you will be a time of healing, maybe a time of rest, maybe a time of reunion with ones that you love. I'll be thinking about you during the break, and I will return in a few weeks. I don't know the exact date, but looking at probably being back around February of 2023. So until then, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being a listener. Thank you for your support. If you find that listening has been beneficial, share with your friends and family. I appreciate it. And if you found that being a listener, this podcast has really become part of your routine, I do appreciate if you leave me a review on whatever platform you're listening on. Those reviews really do help. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Have a wonderful winter. A happy to all of the holidays that you celebrate. Thank you so much. Bye bye. thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Art of Healing podcast. Once again, this is Charlize. You can find out more about me at www.healingartshealthandwellness.com. Did you know I have a blog as well as online courses? Check your show notes to sign up for more information about healing arts, health, and wellness. Thank you. Please feel free to share this episode with your friends, family, and loved ones.